Mish, long time no see. Okay, guys, we're just gonna link up with this incredible human right here. Hello, Dana.
Hi, I don't know how much you can. This is my first Instagram live video. How bad is that?
It's not bad at all, and I'm so excited to be your first Instagram live. Welcome.
Thank you, thank you. Can you hear me okay? Sorry, I got my gigantic earphones. We are currently in a lockdown, a proper lockdown here in Perth, starting again today.
I
So
heard
I
that.
didn't have time to get back because I had to wear my mask.
Oh, I thought you guys were like 100% good as far as COVID goes, and I just heard on the news this evening that you are back in a lockdown. I'm so sorry to hear that.
No, that's okay. Can you hear me
Yep,
properly?
yeah, you're great.
Okay, cool. All right.
Okay, well, you guys, first off, thank you for joining us on this Monday evening. I cannot tell you how incredibly excited I am to have Dana with us this evening. Dana is one of the strongest, most inspirational humans I have ever met. And I promise you guys are going to feel exactly the same about her. Dana is a burn survivor, a cancer survivor. She is an author, a keynote speaker, and has her master's of science and nursing. I mean, I could go on, but you get the gist. She's pretty incredible. She is a superhuman. Dana is also, I think we better let our viewers know something incredibly cool, that not only all these things that I just mentioned, but you are coming to us from the future. Can you please tell us how Tuesday is?
Yes, I'm from the future, man. Um, Tuesday's really good. I'm really excited about our journey together and just what we can do to help survivors. I think, and I remember when I got injured so long ago, or feels so long ago now, nearly 10 years ago, I was constantly looking at the latest of what to do, how we can do it, and forever educating myself on like the most innovative things to help survivors in every aspect. And I guess even at that stage, paramedical tattooing hadn't evolved at all like it has now. And so I think not only am I coming to you from the future as in Tuesday, but I feel like the future arrived and we get to deliver it to our future clients.
Oh my God. Well put, girl. I know our viewers are so excited to hear from you and about your story. And I'm guessing that some people may already know your story. I am so grateful that you're here to share it. And I know you have literally probably shared this a million times, but in your own words, if you would take 5 or 10 minutes to, walk us through that journey, that would be amazing.
Sure. So I'll give just a really quick backstory on the actual events themselves. February 16th, 2012, a male and a woman broke into my apartment and I was doused in methylated spirits, set on fire and left to die. I quickly stopped, dropped and rolled, remembering what we were taught at school from constable care. When you're on fire, stop, drop and roll. But in fact, what constable care forgot to tell us was with a chemical burn, you don't stop, drop and roll. Was, in hindsight, it was the stupidest thing I could have done, but my emergency, like brain just kicked into gear. I got up from stop, dropping and rolling, and in fact, I had just spread the fire 10 times worse. Like, if you've ever seen Fantastic Four, I look like that fire guy. As far as you could see, there was just
Yeah.
flame. And I guess as hard and as some people hear that story and they're like, oh my God, do you remember being burnt alive? And I do so vividly, but the aftermath, the pain, I remember that, but the aftermath of being burnt alive is so much more worse than whilst you're burning alive. Like the pain is beyond anything I can ever express, or is disgusting. Like, it makes your stomach turn when you think about it.
Yeah.
But from that, I lost, my complete identity, not only physically, but every little element of me that was done. Like, I couldn't walk, talk. I had to learn to do all of these things again. I was disabled, and I was stuck, broken, really broken. Um, I spent 4 years and 10 months as an in and out patient in the hospital. And whilst still in masks and garment, at 27 years old, the ripe old young age of 27, I received cancer, a diagnosis of cervical cancer, not irregular cells, full-blown cancer. So I guess from then to now, if we're going to fast forward and get to where we are quickly, is I guess I'm documented around the world for having made one of the biggest recoveries / transitions in the world. And I attest that to so many things: great medical care, amazing family and friends, keeping my word. And when I say due diligence and dedication and perseverance and relentlessness, I am still downplaying the amount of times that I had to get back up and fight. And I can tell you this right now: people look at me and they're like, wow, you're so successful in everything you do, what you've accomplished. But there is nobody in this world who has failed more than I have. I wore masks and garment for 3 years. I slept sitting up on a crucifix. Essentially, I looked like Hannibal Lecter. It took like an hour nearly to get me to bed, with arm splints, wrist splints, elbow splints, mouth brace, neck brace, torso splint, different hand splints. And then I had different arm splints that I'd rotate twice a day for separate flexions. I've had 5 sets of braces, 2 jaw expanders, 5 neck releases. I'm burnt waist up circumferentially. So circumferentially means all the way around, for some people who don't know. And what that did for me was really set me back more than most, because I had no area for give. So I like fused into like a little sultana peanut. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I may never hold a pen again. And I just can't believe where I am now. Like, I have full functionality, full mobility. My life has turned around in such a way that I still pinch myself. I still have hard, but I have the most amazing family. And in the beginning, I made a promise to my sister and my mum, especially, because the truth is, it would have been way more civil to have let me die. I was living hell on earth. It was the most cruel thing that can happen to a human's body, but more so to a mind, because I was stuck inside a corpse that didn't look human. And if anyone's ever followed me on social media or seen anything about me in the media, I can't actually put the worst of the worst photos up, because it's all too graphic to be censored. So what you see, and when your jaw drops, that is the choir girl photos. So there are some on my website, but even they're the choir girl photos, because it's just too much for people to handle. And I have to live like a mutant every day. And I also, when you're so desperate, I am a scientist, but I prayed to God. I prayed and I said, look, just give me the strength. Let me get through this. And I swear to you, I will be a better human. I will do good. Just give me the strength to keep on fighting. And it was kind of like getting to where I am now. On the days when it was specifically hard, it was always remember the promise I made to my mum and sister and my friends, family, and the whole medical community who didn't give up on me. How dare I not give up on them? And the promise that I made to God, yeah.
I know that you are known for one of the biggest burn recoveries ever documented. Do you feel like that is a straight up miracle?
I think it's a miracle that I survived, since technically I did die.
Yeah.
A few heart stopped, all of it. Miracle, modern medicine, stubbornness. Whew, so stubborn.
Tenacity.
Oh, girl, tenacity. it's got to be another word we have to invent, because it's just like choir girl words. It's not cutting it. As you know, you're a survivor yourself. But, you know, I am so grateful for the life I have. And even the hardships that I'm enduring now, it's not wasted on me. And I often get from people like, you know, my sister goes to me, why? She has the keys to my house. She'll just come over and I'm vacuuming in heels and like something really dressed up. And she's like, why do you do that? Because I fought so hard for my identity. And so it's not that I do it for anyone else. It's that it's not, I fought so every time again. And I often get media, like, you know, because you get trolls and shit. And they write like, oh, she's gone too far. She looks like Barbie. And I'm like, thank you. Because perspective is everything, A. But B, I haven't had any extreme plastic surgery. It's just the grafts, I mean, which is so extreme. But nothing on my face. So I'm just like, thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, we always say haters are just secret fans. You know what I mean?
Sticks and stones, man. I got burnt alive. I also, like, come say it to my face. No chance.
Oh, I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us, Dana. Every time I hear this story or I read about you, I honestly, it just kind of shakes me to my core. I can't mentally put together what I see from the photos that you share to your appearance now. It is just mind blowing. And I share these with a lot of people because not only am I so proud to know you, but I'm so proud of where you've come and how you have managed to basically defy all the odds. And I love that we are working together. I'm in Canada, you're in Australia. Tell us how you found me.
So obviously, I am somebody who really empowers myself with research and knowledge. And I have just finished a third degree, which was like a master's in science, particularly nursing. And I am opening up my own clinic here. And
Yay.
so I know, woo, this is kind of a little secret, but that's over now. So for me, I wanted to really empower myself with the best of. And when researching, I came across your company, and every element that you covered in your course, but not only every element that you covered paramedically, the fact that you're a survivor. And I also found that you had a more broad range than everybody else in terms of like there are some places that will specialize only in stretch marks, camouflage, some only in scar camouflage, for example, hysterectomy, and then there are others that whereas with you were a whole package deal and very knowledgeable, and you had to have already experience in the field. So like you can't come to you as a freshman. You needed to have experience to really understand the scope. And even if you do come to you with experience during your course, there is a wealth of knowledge and links in case you're not sure of many terms. And the reality is, for me, I'm quite educated, but still, unless you are burnt or no scars, it is a realm of its own. Mm-hmm. So it really does give you that education to others. But it covered acne scars. It covered, you know, the psychological cutters. It was so inclusive of the LGBT community. I was like, bravo, girl. Loved it. Loved the survivor elements. Loved the hysterectomy scars. I loved the vitiligo cover up, the areolas. You didn't miss a beat. There wasn't a scar that you didn't have on there. And I loved the broad range. And then, of course, dealing with you directly and your employees, your company has been a dream. And it's not like I didn't even realize how good the course was going to be. And we met up, like, we were conversing. It was just a really good fit. It was survivor. And then once I've done the course, I've actually done like 4 or 5 international courses with different academies. And this was a standout for me. Easily.
Thank you, Dana.
So, encompassing, but I found, oh my God, your cheat sheets with the colors. Mm-hmm. So I like absorbed them like a sponge. And of course, for me, product is everything. So I have already had camouflage tattooing twice on my hand, on my neck, twice with great PMU artist, which people don't know, that's semi-permanent makeup artist. Still doing without any results at all. So literally complete epic fails. And they were great artists, like, so no offense to them. But I think what I got from my learnings and your learnings in particular is it is really about product and what you're putting on the skin. So in saying that, you know, in light of this video, I would have done this earlier, but I've had an MRI, and for everybody watching, the only reason I held back on doing this earlier is because if you have an MRI, you should hold back. No, if you know you're going to have a tattooing, because of the zinc in the cosmetic inks or any ink, it can just heat up extra during your is the magnets and the field. So I just, although if you do have a tattoo, I'll help you out there. It's just that I knew one was coming up. So for me, here's something that most of my followers or the world really don't know. I'm scarred waist up circumferentially, and I have really European olive skin, even where I've been grafted. So dark, but my hands are white. I always put fake tan on my face and my hands. Super easy job. I don't have to do the whole body. It's amazing. So what I've done is a two-step process using Jody's technique, which I wholeheartedly believe in. And in the beginning, I was so disfigured, like as Jody said earlier, you cannot comprehend that I was alive, let alone I didn't even look like a human. I probably had one of the worst burns going I've ever seen, ever. Like I'd been forgiven for being bitter, but I wasn't, and I was grateful to be alive. But in the beginning, I would have tried anything and everything because I couldn't get any worse. But I've already tried cosmetic tattooing, and I'm getting to a phase now where obviously I'm very careful with what I try, because I'm happy that I look like Dana again, and I'm selective because I don't want to damage myself. But this is how wholeheartedly I believe in the technique you're teaching, Jody. So I have started on my hand, and the reason I started it in a 2 phases is because it's so white, and that has even more white here. So I started here, and I've diluted white colors so that once this area is healed to match the rest of the hand, I will then tattoo the whole hand with the same pigment as the rest of my body. So I'm doing it in a 2-phase process. And any good PMU artist, paramedical tattooist, as Jody will tell you, a lot of scars require a 2-stage process. It's not always a one-off. And another thing that I loved about your course, Jody, for me, opening up my clinic, one of the biggest things that I am taking on board is managing people's expectations. Because as a survivor, it is a difference. And okay, guys, I spent my entire life savings getting this clinic up. I even sold my shares so I could have the best of the best products. And you need to be real with people. We are not gods, but we will do. I and Jody will do the absolute best. And I think that comes with also having the background of being a survivor. I say to all my clients, I'm going to treat you like I treat my mum or my sister. And I'm so real about their expectations, because when somebody's coming to you and they are so broken, let me use breast cancer survivors as an example. So broken, and they're coming to you for hope, and it's so important to manage that expectation of hope and be realistic with them, because you don't want them to get to a point in their journey where it's like, you know what, this is it, nothing works for me, I'm done, and then give up, because it's so easy to do. And I think for me, the worst parts of during my recovery is when I've had hope and then it's been false hope and I've been let down. So I don't ever want anyone to come to me and that to happen. I want realistic expectations, the best results. And I'm not someone who's going to sit here and preach like, oh, this works, that works, without having tried it myself first. Like, that's how whole I'm going to believe in what I do. And I really loved that about you, Jody. It's like, manage people's expectations and protectiveness in your course, not just for clients, but protectiveness for yourself as a paramedical tattooist, because, you know, you've got to protect yourself so you can give everybody the best of you.
Yeah, I think first off, I want to just like circle back and tell everybody that you have a PMU clinic and you are adding paramedical services. But before I get to that and just jump back to the managing expectations, I think, and I think as a PM, you can probably relate to the two different levels of expectations where PMU can really get focused around, I want to use the word perfection because that is how women want their faces to look. You know, whether it's natural perfection or really enhanced perfection, at the very end of the day, people don't want something that looks like it was not done properly. And then on the other side of the spectrum is paramedical tattooing, where the expectations are completely different. And they're different because people who have walked a mile in those shoes are not looking for perfection. They're looking for improvement. And within that expectation is where we need to manage, you know, what percentage of improvement, what can I do without overpromising and under delivering. So that is very near and dear to my heart because I as well have been down the road of all the hope in the world and then have that crushed and then rinse and repeat that like on and on and on, and it is very discouraging, and it's just not something that you want to go ahead and pass on to clients. So I know people like you and I work very diligently and to ensure that those expectations are managed. So circling back now to your clinic, you are now going to be incorporating these services, and how amazing is that? Like, I want to come to you for them.
Oh, and you get better care. Yeah, look, thank you.
You're
But
welcome.
it's also, I think when you do something, so all those sleepless nights, like especially when I was doing my medical degree at uni, like, you're just sitting there on a computer and I'm like, why am I doing this assignment that I'll never use ever again? But with this, I was like, I'm a super nerd. I have nerded out so hard. Nerded out. I don't even know if that's good. But I have literally twisted off studying so hard, but I don't even find it studying. It was just like I'm so enthralled.
Yeah,
Probably times that I've submitted some of my quizzes, you'd be like, what the hell? Because it's bum shit o'clock in the morning and I am still going because I'm so interested in it. And like literally last week I had my mum, my friends, my sisters call me and be like, you got to get out of the house. You have to get out because
yeah,
I've just started off studying, loving it. But yeah, even with the PMU artist element, I think people, you can give them perfection. I've got every single measuring tool in the world, but like
yeah,
most people aren't perfect. Even the
yeah.
most gorgeous women, they have asymmetry. So you can measure them up to wahoo, and some people have hollowed out areas of one side of their face. It's just, you really need to measure everybody's expectations. I mean, look, we can give symmetry, but you just may not get it because you don't have it. Like everybody's asymmetrical, but I think it's important to embrace those things as well.
Absolutely. So, Dana, how are you going to be getting your paramedical tattooing clientele?
Um, Obviously, this is so live that I just had a bubble in my throat. Uh, I, well, I'm going to advertise, but I think before and afters for me is a big one. I loved even the elements of your online course, how specific it was to marketing and everything. And it's just a bit that you did not cover. It was so good. But yeah, probably social media. And I think for me, the biggest thing will be before and afters.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just point of difference really. Like I have made it my life's work and my business to learn every element of my recovery, and now I want to make your business my business. You know, like to
yeah,
help you the element of your recovery.
yeah. No, I love that. And how, like personally, how do you find the demand as far as paramedical goes? Like, are you grabbing the PMUs over, like, what does that look like for you day to day?
So I think I'm finding the demand very, very high. But yes, very high. I think because I've immersed myself in not just the burns world, but like the survivor community here in Australia, very much so in the last 9.5 years. And so for me, it's just like, it's a natural transition into most of like people follow me. Once these treatments, I very publicly removed my masks on TV for the first time, and that
Yeah.
was like not the gimmick. That was something I actually did for real. Since then, and after I made that promise to my family and to God, since then I have, burden's the wrong word, I felt a really strong sense of responsibility to constantly put out what works, what doesn't, what I've tried, what like. So I think that level of responsibility that I still feel on my shoulders has just kind of escalated. And I've always put myself in the community of like volunteering, giving back, raising money, and it was like, how more can I help? What can I do? And the biggest thing that I've got from all my followers is there is a need for what we do. And
Yeah.
clinic is going to be called IMD Aesthetics, and that stands for I'm Deserving Aesthetics. And it's not about everyone like being most beautiful, it's about everyone deserving to feel their best, because when you
Yes.
feel your best, you do your best and you give your best.
Yes.
And I tell you right now, when somebody is burnt in your family or your friends or anything, your mother, your sister, your dad, your cousin, your best friend are the first person to reach out to me, to email me or like on my webpage, Instagram, Facebook. What did you do? How can we do it? And this has been going on for years and years, and it's only escalating. So it is something that I've felt, I still do feel it's a big responsibility for me, and something that I said that a promise that I said I'd keep. And so there is a huge need for it. And it's not something that I don't think any good paramedical artist has to go out to look for. People are so, this is going to be, even this live is going to be so informative to survivors around the world who don't know that there are these options.
Tell me if you agree, Dana, that I always say this whenever I'm in lives. People must think I'm a broken record, but I wholeheartedly believe that paramedical tattooing is what cosmetic tattooing was 10 years ago. It's in that infancy where people, that awareness is just starting to come to the forefront. And I love to be able to create that knowledge and education and awareness around something that is so important, that just like you said, like the demand is there. It is 100% of the market that need these services. This isn't a woman who, potentially lost eyebrows for whatever reason. It might have been alopecia or just over tweezing. And,
Yeah,
not to downplay those, because
I say,
yeah, those, I mean, it's confidence, right? Confidence is just the big bubble around everything that we do. And one of the things I have always said, and as a cancer survivor, is like, look good, feel good. And it's a confidence thing. It's not about being vain, and being completely driven by, beauty or whatever we, deem that to look like. So, yeah, I'm totally on the same page as you, and couldn't agree more. What do you think about the start and like the excitement around this part of the industry?
I think look, I think it's exciting, but I don't think that it's been given enough credit yet. And I think that this is something that we could really definitely work on, in terms of people just don't understand how awesome it is. We're talking about paramedical and PMU crossing over, but they are definitely the same, like alopecia survivors, alopecia
Yeah,
survivors, the eyebrows, alopecia, but even people who just have cosmetic enhancements. This is another
yeah,
thing that's encompassing about your course that I really liked. Women with breast augmentations have had facelifts, just covering those scars. And it's not, again, about vanity. It's about being your best self. And everyone
yeah.
deserves to feel themselves in that a judgment-free zone. And I think that's what really, like, for me, you were so stand out and support the LGBT community. there's no one off limits that deserves to feel great, and I
Yeah.
totally wholeheartedly agree with you. But I think that we could definitely do a lot more, and more will be done. I can promise you that. And I don't know if you guys know, but this is the first of many that Jody and I will be doing together. But to help
Yes.
create, so but it's just really cool the stuff that can happen, and like in our coming videos, and after you guys hear my memory, is that
Yes.
beeping? See
Nope.
how
No
light?
beeping.
No, okay. So, but yeah, look, not enough awareness is out there, but I guess even during this conversation, we have highlighted so many elements that can be like paramedically pigmented that most people haven't even probably thought of.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, 100%. Dana, we have a question coming in from Kate_tattoos. Dana, she wants to know what your favorite machine is.
Hi, Kate. So I actually am one of those people who have like 10 machines. I literally have 10 tattoo machines, and I have different machines for different things. Variety of all of them. So I really can't use that. But I can tell you, I have tried many, and I have many because I do think whatever works best for you in your hand and for a specific job. So that's just how I am. But yeah,
I
but
think
lots
I,
I've ready.
I think a lot of our viewers get that because a lot of us are like that. I think even if it's that you just don't maybe use one machine, but you have tried so many and you kind of relate them to different procedures. But perhaps in one of our upcoming lives, we can talk a little bit more about machines because I know that is something that always comes up. So, Kate, stay tuned. We will still just kind of get through all of those as well. Okay, so I've got some tips and advice that I'd love to hear from you. What would be something you would tell people to not do when it comes to paramedical tattooing?
Do not go to somebody who hasn't got befores and afters for you. Red flag. Uh, yeah. I always make sure the person you're going to shows you a closed sterile needle and the inks that you're using, and it gives you as much information as possible. Wait a minimum of a year for your scar to mature, and sometimes that may not be the case. If you still have any red, pink, or purple,
Yeah.
which your course highlights, and I was like, yes, good for you, because it's such a big thing that most people don't know. The younger you are, like if you're like me, I was born at 25, and I have olive skin. I had so much collagen and that in my skin that in fact I scarred way worse, and it took me years for my scars to mature.
Yeah.
Some scarring, you know, can be treated in different stages. So if you've got bumpy scarring, lumpy scarring, try go to your GP or your dermatologist. You know, like you may be a candidate for steroid injections or laser beforehand. You're looking for like a nice light white colored tattoo, and they you're never we're not gods, like we can't completely give your skin back, but it's like wearing a wicked foundation for the rest of your life that'll last. Waterproof makeup for your hands and your body. And look, we're living in a society where we as women, men, everyone, we expected to deliver so much and be so much and give so much of ourselves. And
Yeah.
if it can take just that little bit of time not to have to do all the cover-ups and live more, then go to a good PMU or paramedical tattooist. But yes, definitely look for red flags. You want before and afters. You do want reviews. They're important. Have I missed anything, Jody?
No, I think you, like as always, you've totally nailed it on the head. I think all of those things are so important to educate, and that just is starting to come to the top of mind for people, and that's becoming the standard. So I love that. And I love obviously educating that. Dana, you are obviously a student of mine. I know you found me through the internet. How do you feel that paramedical tattooing is going to change your upcoming clients' lives?
This is a question that I can't even explain to you because I am such a survivor of a burn so big. Someone who puts a fake tan on their hand, twice a week just to camouflage it with the rest of my body.
Yeah.
It's going to save me personally, even once I've completed my tattooing my hand, that time, the time that I could focus on myself, the time that I could focus on my new clients, but gives you that hop step. It's like, some people just feel more confident with makeup on. It's the same paramedic tattooing. You have that right to have, it's your God-given birthright to have the body and face and everything you were born with back. And if you can't, fake it to make it. Get as close as you can. So
Yeah.
it's the psychological benefits I think that people cannot comprehend. So when people think of, semi-permanent makeup or paramedical tattooing, I think if you're not a survivor, you instantaneously think of like shallowness, cosmetics, looks wrong.
Yeah.
It's the psychological healing, and you touched in your online course, which I think's bloody incredible, about cutters. Um, this is something that they often look at and can associate with trauma, and
Mhm.
so for them to have that camouflage after they've moved on from that part of their life, it's almost like the the happily ever after of closing that book and saying the end and being able to open another book.
Yes, well said. I always say it's kind of like closing the chapter on that illness or injury book that you might have been reading for, maybe a short period of time, maybe a long period of time, but it is a pretty incredible gift to give people. It's pretty incredible, I think, for artists to just have the skills and the knowledge to provide that for people, and it's certainly something that I'm very grateful to have. So, in saying that, I am so grateful for you and your interest in our course and your willingness to share your story. That is just honestly, I'm speechless every time I read, I hear, I see you. Like I can't say enough about you, Dana. I think you are one of the most incredible people I have met and probably ever will meet. And I'm so excited for us to continue these series of Instagram lives. There's so much we have to talk about.
I was just reading here, someone said, I can't wait to take this course. I was like, do yourself a favor, take it, because it's so good, you're going to love it. It's Real Ink by Ash. I hope I said that right. But it is so good. Like I said, my family and friends had to ring me because I was twisting out, just like so enthralled. And it's sometimes when you do courses, people like to hold back or thanks. Oh, thanks. They like to hold. So I'm reading and talking to you. They like to they'll give you their tips and of the trade and tools. Like you have just put everything out there and said like and then some. It's like, this is what I've learned, and here are my little tricks that I've made, and here you go, have them. I hope they work for you. Like it was so good. And the color theory especially, because that can be very complicated. But yeah. Oh, look, my sister's on here. Hi,
Oh,
Svet.
hi. Okay,
Um,
well, Dana, thank you again for joining us. I know you are still in the future for us, and it's the evening for us here in North America. And just so you guys know, we'll always be talking about when Dana and I will be conducting these lives, and they are always going to blow your mind, I promise. So on that note, thank you again, Dana. I'm just forever blown away by you, and I hope you guys are as well.
Thank you. Thank you for your course. I'm so grateful to you. I love that I can access it at any point again, even after you finish elements of it. Love that. And I just want to say, hopefully on our next one, we can show the before and after of my hands.
Yes, I would love that. Also, one other thing too, like as we're going through that, we can definitely showcase results, troubleshoot, and do all the things I love talking about that stuff.
Easy. Thank you so much.
All right. Mwah, girl, you are incredible. And we will chat soon. And thank you to everybody who joined us.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.